December the 29th. We are going over to our neighbor's house for dinner tonight. These would be the same neighbors who own the cat that we really like. We like the neighbors too, fortunately. So they're new to the neighborhood. They moved in August of 2018. And we've gotten to know them a little bit. They've been here for dinner once, and now it's our turn to visit them at their house. So that's where we're headed tonight. These chocolate chip cookies are, now I don't mean to brag, but I'm going to brag a little bit. I have been making these particular cookies since I was a teenager, and I think it may be a small part of the reason that my husband liked me to begin with, because I made these cookies and he thought they were delicious, and I have continued to carry on and make them for the remainder of our marriage. And he always knows it's a special treat when I make them. I don't make them very often anymore because I really try hard to avoid eating too much sugar, because I have a real sweet tooth, and once I get started I find it really hard to stop. So the easiest thing to do is just not have it in the house. So, you know, we're going there tonight, and so I wanted to take something, a little hostess gift, and these cookies they're usually always a hit. It's hard to go wrong. So since they've never had them before, I figured that's what I would do. I always make a double batch when I have to gift them away, because otherwise there is so much moaning and groaning from the family that you're always giving the cookies away and we never get to keep any here. And so I always just make a double batch, and it nips it right in the bud. That way there's lots of cookies for everyone. So these are chocolate chip, very simple, and I'm going to put the recipe in the drop down box below in case you're interested. It's not a secret. I've been making them since I was a kid, and I'm not sure where my mom got the recipe. I think they're similar to the Toll House recipe. I think someone told me that once, but I don't think they're exactly the same. And the way that I like to make them, I take them out of the oven as soon as they're golden brown. I don't leave them in for the full amount of time. In fact, I don't even remember the original timing that was on the recipe. I think it was something vague, like 10 to 13 minutes at 350 degrees. And the interesting thing about Canada and baking is that we are a metric country. So we measure and weigh things using metric symbols. However, when we bake, we still tend to use imperial measurements. So we still use cups and tablespoons and, you know, things like that, measurements. Whereas in the UK, Britain, I know that Britain is in the UK. You know what I mean? Other places use metric measurements. So my measurements for these cookies are in imperial measurements, but I think it's fairly simple to Google a conversion in case you use metric and you would like to make these. They're delicious. And don't forget to take them out just before you think that they're really done, and that way they'll stay a little bit soft and a little bit chewy on the inside. And they're so good. They're so, so good. All right, Flossmas Day 29. We are so close. We are almost at the end of the month. This has been so much fun. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm not doing a daily video anymore. I have gotten very used to talking with you guys every single day. It's been so fun. And, you know, we have more fun to come, right? 2019 is right around the corner. Plans ahoy. Okay, so yesterday's ornament was from the 2010 Ornament magazine. And thank you for being so kind to my fiber friends. They're a hoot. I really enjoy spending time with them. So the ornament that the girls helped me choose, I only gave them 2 choices. It wasn't a huge choice. And of course now I've just closed the book on where my ornament was. Okay, the one that I picked was from, Jeanette Douglas Designs. I did know that. And so when it's finished, it will look something like that. This one here, it's the Joy ornament. And Just let me get my needle out of the way there. I finished the J last night. So let me just put this, that'll help. There. So guess what? This ornament uses a combination of 1/1 and 2/2. So it uses both. And in the picture you can see the word joy is the 1/1. And then down here, the floral bits underneath, that's 2/2. And then the vines and the leaves are backstitch. So it's really sweet. And there are a few beads in there too, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there are a few beads. I have a few, I may skip the beads. I may just put in a few extra cross stitches instead of the beads, because I'm certainly not going to purchase a whole package of beads for, you know, 3 or 4 beads, and I don't own them already, so I'm not going to go out and buy them, but I'll just make do. I'll make sure it looks covered and pretty, and yeah. So I'm really quite pleased. I've done the whole entire J 1/1. So this is a 32 count natural linen, and it's lovely to work on, and I enjoy doing 1/1 on 32 count as long as the lighting is good. I don't find it difficult to see at all. And the thread that I'm using is from Victorian Samplers, Victorian Motto Sampler Shop. It came in my Christmas pack, and it's the Victorian Pine Bough. So it's this beautiful pine green color that I'm going to be using in today's ornament as well, because I knew I liked that ornament because I remember seeing this other one on the cover of the 2009 issue. And so this is what the cover looks like for that. Now, if I just draw your attention down here to the corner, notice anything about this ornament down here? Does it look familiar? Well, it should, because I think it is also a Jeanette Douglas design. Okay, so this ornament is found on page 54 of the 2009 book, and yes, of course, it is a Jeanette Douglas design, and it's called the Stamp Ornament, and I believe that's what the Joy one is called as well, the 2010 Stamp Ornament. So there's a nice close-up of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same green that I'm using in today's ornament in here, and then the Christmas word, I have the other, it's more of a burgundy red in the Victorian Motto pack that came, that I'm going to use in the 2/2 stitching down here. And then that's the same color that I'm going to use for the word Christmas. That is, of course, if you haven't guessed already, done 1/1. So this one is also a mix of 1/1 and 2/2 in the same ornament. Now there is a silver charm, and what is it? It's a little points. It's either, what is that? Ivy with a holly. It's a holly berry. That's what it is. It's a holly berry silver charm right here. And I don't have one of those. So what I might do is I may move the 2018, or let's be honest, these might be 2019 ornaments by the time I'm finished. So I might move that right up in here so it's centered under the Christmas word, and maybe I'll extend the branch of the holly here a little bit more. So that's what's on deck for today. And that is the second ornament out of the 2009 I'm doing. The other one that I had started in here was the, you may remember, was the Prairie Schooler snowman. That's also in the same issue. So there are maybe a couple more out of this issue that I'm interested in doing. But I've been really pleased. I can't remember ever having spent so much time in these magazines that have been sitting around in a pile in my house for years. I mean, years. that I've owned these, and they weren't inexpensive. I mean, when I back in 2010, this was $10. So it was a $10 magazine. So when you add that up, you know, I probably have over, and the price obviously went up, and I think it was $16 or $17 an issue by the time I was done. I would purchase them through Thread and I wouldn't get them at Chapters or you know, other crafting stores. I would tend to buy them through Kathy and Neil. So you know, there's value in these, and I'm pleased to be using them. I'm pleased to be using what's in my stash. Okay, so it is the 29th, which means tomorrow is the 30th. Tomorrow is also Sunday. Tomorrow is also the last Sunday of the month, which means that it's time for high tea tomorrow. So high tea will be happening. I hope to have the video up mid-afternoon. That's the plan. I'm super excited about tomorrow's start. It is my very last high tea of the month. And for me, high tea is going to be changing in 2019. We're still going to do it. We're still going to celebrate it. There's still going to be a giveaway every month at the month end. But for me, I'm going to be changing up what I do. I think you can guess, right? I've had a lot of new starts this year. So it's time for some introspection. You know, it's not a big hubbubaloo or whatever. It's still going to be very special for me. So that's it. I better get ready to go to the neighbor's house for dinner, make myself look presentable, and package up the cookies and get ready to go. I'll see you tomorrow. Happy stitching.